You've probably practiced stalls in VFR, right?
Yeah.
You feel that little shudder, see the nose drop, you recover. Pretty standard stuff.
Yeah, textbook almost.
But now imagine that same feeling, that sick sort of wing drop, but there's absolutely nothing outside. Just gray. Total whiteout.
Mm-hmm.
Stall recovery and IMC, instrument meteorological conditions. It's just a completely different beast, isn't it? Especially with ice on the wings. That adds a whole other layer of scary.
It really does. And that's exactly why this deep dive is, well, frankly, essential for anyone going for their EASA basic instrument rating, the BIR.
Right.
We're not just ticking boxes for an exam here. This is about, actual survival skills for your typical single-engine plane, like a Cessna maybe.
Okay.
So our mission today is really to unpack the unique threats and the very disciplined procedures you absolutely need for IMC stall recovery. We want to give you something more than just the exam answer. We're talking staying safe up there.
So VFR stalls feel like a known quantity, something you practice. But IMC stalls, why are they fundamentally so much more dangerous when you lose those visual cues? What really changes?
Well, the big thing, and it's easy to underestimate, is the sensory deprivation. It just messes with you.
How so?
In VFR, you've got so much coming in, right? The sound of the airflow changes, you see the nose attitude relative to the horizon, you feel the controls get a bit sloppy, maybe.
Yeah, all those little cues.
Exactly. In IMC, poof, gone. Or they're masked by the noise, the situation. Your brain actually starts fighting you sometimes, trying to make sense of it, maybe even inventing sensations that aren't real.
Wow. Okay.
Which means spotting the stall early isn't just harder, it's a fight against your own instincts. You have to rely entirely on reading those instruments.
So which instruments become critical then?
You're watching for a few key things. Airspeed definitely decreasing, maybe an increasing angle of attack if your panel has an AOA indicator, which is super helpful. And your vertical speed indicator, your VSI. It'll start showing a descent when you shouldn't be descending or descending faster than you expect for your power setting. Those numbers become your only reliable truth.
So, okay, what this means in the cockpit then? For someone flying a typical GA plane like a Cessna, how does this actually look? You're saying it's not a big dramatic feeling, it's just numbers changing on the panel.
That's spot on. You probably won't feel much of anything until maybe it's quite advanced. You're reading, airspeed needle unwinding, VSI showing, say, 500 feet per minute down when you think you should be level. Maybe the AOA indicator creeping up into the yellow or red. It's subtle. It's this, quiet, creeping danger that makes that disciplined instrument scan absolutely vital. You're looking for a trend, not a sudden jolt.
Okay, and just when you think that's challenge enough, you brought up ice earlier. How does airframe icing turn this already pretty dangerous situation into, well, you said it, a potential nightmare?
Yeah, ice. Ice is the unpredictable killer here. It fundamentally changes how the wing works. It messes up the airflow, reduces lift, and critically, it lowers the angle of attack at which the wing stalls.
And it stalls at a higher airspeed too, right?
Exactly. Often before you even see significant ice building up. So an ice-contaminated wing stalls earlier, faster, and often with much less warning. Sometimes none of the usual aerodynamic buffet you'd expect. It's like the wing just suddenly gives up.
That's terrifying.
It is. And here's where the difference between the exam world and the real world gets stark. Examiners test your knowledge of the standard recovery procedure, fine. But in actual icing conditions, your safety margin just evaporates. That standard procedure might happen much faster, or the stall might be more aggressive. Early, decisive action becomes paramount. It's not just important, it's everything.
So you can't rely on instinct at all, which feels unnatural, especially in a stressful moment. When you are faced with that IMC stall, ice or no ice, what are the immediate coordinated actions? How do you force yourself to do the right thing?
It's pure discipline. It's training overriding instinct. The steps are clear and you drill them. 1, reduce the angle of attack. That means smoothly push the control column forward. Get the nose down relative to the airflow.
Okay. Coordinate.
2, add power if you have it available. Full power usually, unless the POH says otherwise for your type.
Right. Power up.
3, and this is crucial, maintain wings level using the attitude indicator, your artificial horizon, not your feeling, not your gut. Resist the urge to pull back or to use rudder aggressively to pick up a wing. Smooth aileron.
Use the AI. Got it.
And 4, avoid abrupt control inputs. Everything's smooth and coordinated. Smooth is safe, smooth is fast in recovery.
Okay, so push power level wings on instruments smoothly. How do you remember that under pressure? For the test, yes, but more importantly for the skies.
Well, the mnemonic helps, but the core principle you have to internalize is this. Your confidence has to shift. It has to move away from what your body feels and land squarely on those instruments. Attitude indicator, airspeed, VSI.
Trust the gauges.
Completely. They become your senses. That trust, built through training and understanding, is the vital skill for the BIR. And for any instrument flying, it's about reprogramming your reflexes.
So mastering this isn't just about learning a maneuver, it's really about a fundamental shift in mindset. Trusting the technology, trusting your training more than your own physical sensations. That seems to be the core of safe IFR flight.
Precisely. It
Yeah.
really is. And this whole stall recovery scenario, it perfectly highlights that discipline needed for instrument flying. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? Beyond stalls, what other phases of IFR, what other potential emergencies in the clouds demand that we completely override our gut feelings and put total faith in those needles and numbers? How does that trained mindset keep us safe when everything inside is screaming to do the wrong thing? That's something to really think about as you continue your instrument journey.